Well, hello and welcome back. Welcome again to another tuition video when it comes to right here on my YouTube channel. I hope you are well. I hope you're ready to be, fingers crossed, I'm going to be inspiring you. That's the whole purpose, of course, of these tutorial videos. We're going to do some very quick ones, some in-depth ones, some colouring ones, some foiling ones, some stamping ones. We're just going to go all rogue and across the board when it comes to all these videos. As I say, that is my whole purpose of these ones. That's the thing when it comes to these ones. That's what I'm wanting when it comes to these videos, is it is to inspire you and to help you, but then of course it's also because I really love doing these. Really love doing these. What's great as well is, unfortunately, when it comes to the lives, which I love doing, is very hard to pinpoint a night to do them, because I am very restricted as to when I do them, and that is because we need to do them after the end of Crafters TV, both myself and Debbie Robinson, because of course, as you know, we go on and on, because once we start going live, we just love that interaction, which is great, and the whole purpose of it is that interaction. But because of our schedule and what have you, it's really hard to, of course, limit that into a specific day for either of us to do it. That's why they've been a far less as of late. But then for myself, it's that mediocre. I still get to do it, but I get to do it within these tuition videos on my YouTube channel. The only downside is there's not as much interaction when it is live, of course. As when I say live, I mean I'm filming live, because of course I'm filming it. Then I do have that interaction afterwards when I pop the video out. The upside on that, though, is I can do these videos whenever I want, film them whenever I want, and post them whenever I want. I don't need to worry about interfering with the schedule of Crafters TV. So that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to have a play with something that was available for you guys stateside and not really available here in the UK. And I've noticed one or two of them have started to creep in with some of our pick and mix bags and mystery bags and what have you. And that is our cut in expression dies that we can see within this one here. Now this is one specifically that I've noticed it's been popping up saying thank you, which both of these cut into your card. Now cutting into your cards enables you to do things such as, of course, shakers, aperture shakers. You can then start to do paper piecing. And then we're going to do what we'll call ellipse. So it is a form of paper piecing, but just to the side ever so slightly, and giving you that ellipse feel. The only difference really with this one here is, I suppose in some ways, what I'm away to do is a different direction of the ellipse. For instance, the ellipse sort of effect, what you would do is, let's just take a stamped image, stamp a background out, cut your words into there, and then you then lift the die cut words up within your foam pads, so you've still got that full design, but then giving you that drop shadow feel. So I'm going to do that, but without creating the background. We're going to use this and do this in a very simple form. So the simple form that I'm going to go in and do is this one here. So this is the one that we're going to do, being the thank you. Now within this thank you here, what I'm going to do, and I'm just moving my iPad just to the side here to make it a little bit easier for me to see. What we're going to do within this one here is, we can see this is a form of the ellipse, so it is a drop shadow, but what I've done is that thank I have lifted up in foam pads. We've gone in with a quirky colour combination, which for me I feel works really well. And that one there, as we can see, is the brown. It is also, of course, the mint. But then we've got that real hit of fuchsia that we can see just into the background just here. So that is what we are going to be doing, and it just happens to be that it's 6x6 in size. So I'm going to come along with my 6x6 card that we've got. I might have a little bit of a play with some background papers instead of a full mint, but we'll just have a play and see. And if I do, it's more of the gingham that I'm going to be using from the colours of summer. So well, let's dive straight in. What I do need to do is get my cardstock ready. So I've gone in for this one is more of a real dark chocolate brown. This is actually This is actually Basil Basics, and then I've got some mints and I've got some fuchsias that we can see here. So what I do need to do is also get a little bit of white. I say a little bit, we just need really a little square or so of white, but we're going to start with our mats and layers. So we're going to keep my mats and layers in the same form that I tend to have them, and that's 1/4 inch increments. So if I go in with the brown, what you're going to see within this one here is I'm going to cut that to 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I'm just going to make sure that's nice and square, which it is. So there is my 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. We're then going to go in with the mint. Is that going to be big enough? No, I'm going to have to use a fuller sheet. We're going to go in with the mint. Now this one here, we're going to do, of course, 5.5 by 5.5. So if I bring this one in, we can see we've got our lovely matte layer. Now you can't quite see it, but right at the top there, it's not quite even enough. There we go, that's it. Just take a little slither off. Now while I'm here, I'm going to do my insert as well. If you've watched any of these videos or any of my lives that I have done, you know how I talk about the insert. And even at this moment in time, I don't know who I'm going to be giving this thank you card to. And of course, I'm going to be doing a little thank you note inside. But I just don't know in what ways and how I'm thanking them for and what I'm thanking them for. So I'm going to keep my insert nice and plain just now. So I'm going to come to 5 by 5. So I've got my white insert that of course I can come along and then write onto, or of course I can stamp my sentiment once I know what I'm going to stamp, or add my printed sentiment or verse again once I know what I'm going to pop inside. Going to go in with a matte layer. I'm just going to neaten that one up again, and then that can go on the inside of my card. So that's my insert all done, ready to go. So let's go back in now to this layer here. So if we have a look with the green, so that was 5.5 by 5.5. So I want quite a deep border all the way round. So that one there, it's about, I would say, what's that, about 1/4 inch all the way around. So let's at least try 5 by 5 and then have a look, which, yep, that seems fine. But in actual fact, let's actually go one step further and let's just slim it down that wee bit more. So we'll see by the end of it, we'll have how I've got a deeper border compared to this one here. So with that one, then we're going to come in with our brown again. I've got a bit of cut square that's going to fit, which I have done. So that's 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. So let's go 5 by 5. So what I'm going to do is I was just making sure that my cardstock is square, and we can see we've got our matte layer there. But what I actually want is I want a little bit more of a finer layer. So let's come down by 1/4 inch. Well, I say come down, I'm actually coming down a little bit more. So let's go in, there we go, happy with that. So I'll have a finer matte layer all the way round. So if I bring that one in, we can see if I start to then line this one up here, let's just give that a little rough line up, we can see where we're going. That's then of course going to sit onto there, and then that's going to be the basis of our card. So if I move all that out the way for now, the only thing I had to make sure of, and I knew this anyway, you know, visually in my head, I already knew that this would fit. the size of the layer that we want to go in. We just want to make sure it's not too small, that our sentiment won't fit on, which, as you can see, fits like a dream. So taking the thank you, and if I take all these little bits out of the way for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the thank and the you together into my cardstock. We're going to do both of these like so. And then what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to do a bit of paper piecing. So we're going to use these same dies again just shortly, and then we're going to cut them into the fuchsia. And then what we're going to do is we're going to paper piece that back in. Now I'll explain a wee bit more once we actually come to do it, because you might just think, well, Craig, you could have just put a full piece of fuchsia right to the back and that stops you from doing the paper piecing, which of course you could have. But then that'll give us a little indent groove that I'll explain once we actually do it, whereas I want more of a softer, smoother layer. So let's find the end here of my washi tape. So let's bring that in, and just want to make sure that I'm, kind of central, and tape that down. If I move, let's move my bits and pieces out the way for now. We're going to come along, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to pop these onto here. Now these are quite a substantial shape. They're quite an easy shape. So I'm going to take out my magnetic shim, because I don't feel as though I'm going to need my magnetic shim. And then all that I'm then going to do is if I come along, and I've not hooked my camera up to above my Gemini, because I didn't feel as though I really need it for all the time that I would be using it within the Gemini. Might do that in the future though, more and more of that with the camera angles above the Gemini, but for the sake of now, I've not done that. So what we just need to do now is pop this out, and you can see that that has die cut no problem whatsoever. That is alleviating pressure from your plates, unneeded pressure, which then in the long run is going to give you longevity when it comes to your plates. So we've got thank. Now what I'm wanting to make sure that I do is the centre piece of the A, as well as this U here, Y-O-U. I want to keep all these little bits. Again, that will become apparent just shortly. And actually, let's do it now. What we can do is let's bring that out here. Let's bring in my layer here. And then I'm going to come along with my glue. So for something like this, we could have used our double-sided adhesive sheets, of course, because then that will give us edge-to-edge adhesion. But I'm just going in with my glue, with my fine applicator. You know me by now, when it comes to my adhesives, I'm always using Stix2. They're my go-to adhesives, and that's what this one is. But if you have our Crafter's Companion tacky glue, if you've got the little small applicator, then of course you know that you can be using that. Both of which, our Collal tacky glue is incredible quality. But I've used Stix2 for over 20 years. And I ain't going to be stopping now. So let's then come along with the layer here. And then we're just obviously, when we added our glue, we just want to make sure we got into all of these little pieces, like within the H and the top of the N, etc., so that it all stays into place. What I'm then going to do, and it's key that I get these central bits in the exact place, because if I don't, when I come to paper piece with the fuchsia, it's not going to fit. So I've just popped glue just on the back of that central island of the A. So pressing that in, and then what we can then do is then just peel that A out for now. So we're just going to press that in, and that's exactly where I need it. Still not discarding of the A, because I will need it. What I'm then going to do is do the same with the Do the same with the U, as in the Y-O-U. We've got these little landlocked areas that we can see just here. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on there and there. Let's position that back into place there. And I'm just going to press to let that grab for a moment. And then I'm going to lift the U. So let's lift that, and then let's lift that. And then I'm going to then come along and then lift that again. So they are all in the exact place, which is key for what I'm away to do now. So if we set that out the way for now, we're going to come along with some fuchsia, and then we're just going to then die cut our words back in. So let's take our die, and then let's just pop that close together, secure it with our low tack tape, and then we're just going to chop away. Bring in our plates. Once again, I'm taking out that magnetic shim. We're just going to have it so that it's our top plate, well, two cutting plates anyway, and frosted shim. Bring that out of the way. Move that out the way. And then what we can then do is keep that. Now, if I'd done that square and nice and perfect in the middle, that would have been a nice square topper that I've got with the cut in of thank you. But what I'm doing is let's just take these bits out. So let's take those. Even when it comes to these tuition videos, I try and be neat and tidy. Oh, excuse me while I cough. So, let's pop these ones back. Move that into here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to then paper piece these back in. Now, if I put a full piece of fuchsia to the back, what would have happened? I would have this effect that I've got here, where the thank and the U is like an indent in. So I can feel that indentation of the words. I want that smooth layer. So therefore, I'm going to come along with the fuchsia and paper piece that back in. So just using my tacky glue, and then we're just going to pop that back into place. Press that in. So by the time I've done this full thank you, it's going to be nice and smooth all the way across. And I want that for what I'm then going to do just shortly with the white die cuts that we're going to lift within our foam pads. So let's take the H, and then we're going to press in. If you're watching, if this video is one of the very first ones that you have ever watched of the tuition videos that I post on here, I do not edit these videos afterwards. These videos that I do on my YouTube, they go out as I've recorded them. So if there's colouring that's going to take a while, you will see step by step right from the beginning myself colouring. This bit here, instead of editing and then being like, here we go, this is it now complete, you're going to see me complete the full layer. And I think that's key, because I know, and putting my crafting hat on, as if I've been a crafter for over 20 years, I like to see that start to end. I don't like to see that, right, here's cut forward. You know, if I can see the whole lot start to end, that's what I want to see. So that's why I don't edit any of my videos. There's been even occasions where I've had to then just leave for a moment while I go and top up my juice or something like that. You see all of that. You see me in my home, my craft room, my natural habitat, in my comfies, you know, no makeup on, face is red. You see me as it is. I'm bringing you into my home, into my crafty world, and we're just crafting together, and we're just enjoying the craft, enjoying the process. So that's why I don't edit anything out. So let's press that in. So we've now got thank you. So that's nice and smooth all the way across. Then we're going to come along with the U. So let's move that out the way. We don't need these little landlock areas, so I'm just going to then pop that out. And then we're just going to pop, let's take that last little bitty out. And then what we can do with this one, so we're going to do exactly the same. Bring in our glue. And then we're just going to then lift that one up here. Then let's take that one, and even how cool that would be with a brown drop shadow, but I don't want the brown drop shadow. I want it to be all fuchsia. I want to keep the brown on that outer edge. So there's that one. So then what we're going to do is we're going to come along now with our thank and our U that we die cut originally in with our white cardstock. This was just our white multi-purpose cardstock. So I'm going to start with the U, because the U that we are using, we're just going to pop on flat. So we're not going to do any lifting with foam pads. We're just going to keep it completely flat, doing a natural drop shadow. So let's take that one, and then we're just going to come slightly to the bottom right hand corner. And then we're just going to then bring that up into place. And then once we've got it in, let's just move that, manipulate that, get that in, and then there we go. So we've got the thank you. So let's come in a little bit closer just so you can see. We've got the thank you. Now this bit here, this is where you're going to need a little bit of perseverance, or you can use our actual foam pad sheets, or why not use our brand new funky foam, and it's brand new as I record this. But what I've got is I've got my foam pad strips. Now of course I use Stix2, but you'll find these foam pad strips in our Crafter's Companion small foam pad bundle, and you've got two thicknesses. So I've already started to cut one of these up. So one of these really thin strips that we can see here. So this is the thinnest out them both. So there's two sizes. So when it comes to the thinnest one, what I've done with my scissors is just cut all the way down the middle to give me a really thin strip. Now again, at this point, this is then going to be optional for yourself. You might not want to, you know, for you, this might be faffing about. You might not get any enjoyment out of doing this form of craft. I do, and that's why we're just going to spend that bit of time. And because we've got our nice long slither, we're just going to then chop them up. So if you are wanting to get your hands on these ones with our Crafter's Companion version, then check out our foam pad bundle, and it's in our small foam pad bundle. Even although they're long strips, they come in our small foam pad bundle. So let's take the backing off there, and then we're going to do our drop shadow again. So we're just going to come down to the bottom right hand corner ever so slightly, and then we're just going to then pull and then press. So if you didn't want to do the height of this, what you could do is you could just pop them on flat with your tacky glue like I done a moment ago. That would still work, but I just like to have that bit of lift. I like that bit of height that you get. So let me just trim that one off there. So if I then travel all the way down, and I do try and do all areas of the words. So what I mean by that is even like in between, the little lock in between on the H. So let's come in with this strip. So I need another one. So let's press down and then we're going to come along, and then we're just going to do our next one. So go in with our next one, and then we're just going to press. So I tend to do the longer sections first, and then like this I'll come in and do the little landlock areas, or the little connections. Let's do all of these, and then we'll come back and pop them all into place. So let's work our way up to the top just here and take that off. We're going to come in with our next one. I wonder if, let's put a little bit of fuchsia, there you go. That's going to be better for you to see. So let's travel all the way up to the top, and then go into our little bridge of the A. Chop that off. And then we're going to go into our second last one. So we're going to go in with the N. That's just a tiny little bit of overhang there, so we're going to take that out. Let's go back in with our scissors and trim. Well, I say trim, we're just chopping it in half lengthwise. Peel that off. And then we're gonna go all the way up. Press that into place. And then let's take the last side of the N. And again, start at the beginning. And just be careful as well, because once you do start to trim these strips in half, it makes them that little bit more delicate and a lot more flexible. So just take your time. Let's go in with one last one here. And then we're just going to then pop that one on. And with something like this, when it comes to this sort of form of thank you card, you'll notice I don't tend to put much or any gems, pearls, embellishments, flowers, ribbons, butterflies, anything like that. I tend to just keep it au natural. So then that is our letters. So let's come in with the H, and then take these sections off. So if they're nice and secure down, the foam pads that are, the backing's going to come off easily, even although they're thin and delicate. So let's get that where we want, and then press, and then press that. Again, what we're then getting is we're getting that drop shadow, but it's that play on eye, because at the moment it just looks like a generic drop shadow, but then when you tilt it, you get more of that visual play on the eye, which can be quite cool. So let's go start at the top and then work our way down. We're going to do the same. Let's pop the top of the A and then press. I'm going to go in with the N now. So let's just make sure that all areas are nicely secure. You'll notice before I come and peel the backing off, I press all of the layers just to make sure. I'm then going to come in, so press that there. And then press that in. And then we're going to come along. And then let's come in with this last one here. Let's just take that. that. And then last one. So if, as I said before, if you don't want to feel as though you'll be faffing about with the thin strips, if you use our foam pad sheets and just pop your white card onto one of the foam pad sheets and then die cut, and then your full letter will have a foam backing or cut into our funky foam. So there's our thank you with our drop shadow and then giving it an untwist. Funky does that look? Really quite funky, but then we've still got our flat layer when it comes to the U. So I'm going to go in now. This one I'm going to, even though I've got height with the thank, I'm still going to add some height onto this layer. So taking my foam pads and then let's just add them there. And then before I commit all this together, let's take our insert. I'm going to move my cardstock out the way for a moment because we'll have a look at some pattern paper and decide if we're going to put a layer of pattern paper or not. But let's get these ones. So this, remember, is our insert. If you've got any of our insert pads or anyone's insert pads, then you can pop yours in ready. So let's peel these ones off and peel them ones off. That can then go into there. Then we're going to go into the back layer, all the way round, like so. So once we've done that one, what we can then do is pop that straight in to my card blank. Let's bring this one in here. Let's take that into there. And I do always purposely give myself a lot of a white framework all the way around. So something that I've always done. And then we're going to go in with our green and our brown. So let's bring that into there and then bring that into there. Finish off. So let's matte and layer that on to here. So mint onto the brown. Now my card seems to be a little bit skew-with, so I'm going to match up a 90-degree corner, which is there. And then I'm going to come along and have a little bit of trimmage at the side just here. That's fine. And that's fine, that's better. There we go. So that, of course, is going to go onto there, which is then going to go onto there. So before we do that, let's have a little look, because you know something, the pinky tone would work. So for instance, I could do the pink tone, you know, it would work, nice and delicate. You know, that one, the deep green, would work too, or would it? Let's have a look. Let's just bring that up closer. You know, it would work. It would work. About this one. see, I think I'm happy without. I think I'm happy without. I'm going to leave it as my original plan. And then we can see we can come along on into there. So let's bring in our card blank. None stopping you from doing your own funky background if you want. And we'll do that a lot more over time with our water reactives or all of our ink pads. You know, you might want to do it with some of your shimmer sprays, stuff like that. That's up to you. But this is a nice basis to start with when it comes to our cut-in expression dies. So let's take that, and then that, and then that one can go into there. We're going to press that in, and then there we go. Really, really simplistic, but slick, clean, elegant thank you card that you can see there. Nice little play. Thank you with that drop shadow, but because we've lifted it on foam pads, we twist that around, you can see that you've got that really, really funky play when it comes to, of course, the way that it looks. If you want to add little gems and pearls and what have you, you can absolutely do that, of course. For this, I'm not going to. Keeping it clean, keeping it simple, and that's what you want when it comes to thank you cards, because you don't want them overpowering and you don't want them overly detailed. It's more that elegance of that sophisticated, simplistic look to let the recipient know that you're thankful for whatever thing that you're thankful for. So we've got that one there. So I hope you enjoyed that video. So some chocolate brown, some mint, and then some fuchsia with some of our white cardstock as well. And then just start to layer up with our tacky glue and also foam pads too. So there we go. Change that. If you're going to do that, if you're going to replicate that, then of course change it whichever way that you want, should you wish to, or just absolutely replicate it bang on as you want as well. You've got that option too. So more than welcome for you to replicate bang on as you want. So again, hopefully you enjoyed that one. Hopefully you've taken some additional inspiration, and hopefully if you're going to try that, you're going to give me a tag on social, and then I'd love to see what you make off the back of any of these ones. But thank you for watching. Don't forget as well to hit that bell to be notified whenever I upload an additional tuition video, and then give me a thumbs up as well if you do like this video. It's always appreciative for sure. But until the next time, I'll see you again with another tuition video, which, well, who knows what it's going to be. If you want to, if you are watching this within realish time, check out my Facebook page, Craig Laird CC, because I've put a little status up saying what sort of things would you like to see within my YouTube channel. So head across there, Craig Laird CC, and then yeah, let me know there. But we'll see you again the next time. Bye.